Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are coming on live today. We are excited to join you on this evening. A great show, a great show, a great show is all I could say. We have the wonderful Dr. Katina Tarbert Cavett available on this evening. We're going to have a really good time. Join us. Let us know you're in the chat. Say hello to us. Welcome yourselves. We are so glad that you are here. We are so glad that you are here. Welcome, 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 welcome. Lolita's Corner is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday. So join us. We have topics in business and education and girlfriend talk and spiritual talk and inspirational talk. So, hey, we coming on with great information for us to say hello and give some good information and tidbits and tips and ideas for you. So we are glad that you're joining. Keep up with Dr. Cleveland at Crumb Enterprises. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on the World Wide Web. And guess what? My new book is out next week, February 6th. The Global Plug Business Resource Guide. The Global Plug Business Resource Guide. Get ready. It is hot. Every entrepreneur, every business owner, every leader, trust me, it's going to have the tools, the systems that you need for your business to grow, launch, expand, and for new businesses to take off. So get ready, get ready, get ready. It is going down in about a week. The new book will launch. So I am glad that you all are on. So we have the lovely, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Dr. Katina. Listen, y'all, she just not Dr. Katina to me. She my girlfriend, y'all. That's my girlfriend. That's my college girlfriend, HBCU girlfriend, from dorms. Grambling State University. Grambling State University. Listen here, we tigers. We tigers, and to be able to see you. Yes, it's a beautiful thing when you get to see your friends to grow, develop, and expand into who they are and blossoming. And the wonderful Dr. Katina, I've seen her from undergrad to grad to graduate to doctor to certificates, and all of that is great, but her heart is Dr. Katina. So that's why she's on the show, because you can have all the degrees in the world, but I look at your heart and see where you're at. So what can I say? Somebody asked me in the chat. Yes, the new book. My new book will be out February 6th. The Global Plug Business Resource Guide. Listen, you better keep up with Dr. Cleveland, because I'm trailblazing. It's my time. It's my season. And look here, me and Dr. Katina is winning in 2021. So anybody attached to us, we all gonna win. Okay, we're gonna be good tonight. We're gonna be good tonight. So we want to talk about yes. So I'm glad you're here. I know we're tackling education on tonight. Right now, education is in a mayhem. You have remote learning, and you have homeschooling, and you have teachers struggling to go back. You have a pandemic, and even before COVID, the state of education was experiencing some difficulty.
Already in trouble.
Pretty much. Yeah. So can you give us a little tidbits or something about, what is the state of education now versus back then?
When you say back then, give me a year.
Then and before, you just elaborate how you like.
Or when I first started teaching, I can take you back to that. It's funny that you asked me that, because I was watching, can't remember, Head of the Class. Hey, come on, everybody knows me, knows I'm a vintage TV lover. So Head of the Class was on. And I noticed how those shows, the high schools looked so rough. There was always graffiti, it was dirt, there was trash. And I remember thinking, my high school didn't look like that. So then I got to even thinking about the actual education I received. And, I'm Robert Taylor bred, went to DuSable High School, and witnessed the first murder right, in 1988. But I remember all of the foolishness that the students brought in. The teachers were there to filter through that, and they did. And they filtered through all of the stuff and the baggage that we brought in enough to nurture us, enough to say, look, I see you going the wrong way. No, this is wrong. This is right. They loved us. And that's, I don't know if their principal was bothering them then or what type of stresses that they may have had. But with the state of education today, we want to do that. We want to nurture. We want to, that's our job, to see past the mess and see the kid and see the student and teach that child. But we have, before, I'm talking about before COVID, we have so much other stuff going on with the administration, sometimes with parents, sometimes even with the students themselves, that there's so many, and not to mention our personal stuff that you better not even put in it. Heaven forbid we have a personal life, right? But when you put all of that in, that's what we want to do, right? But there's so much other, it's the fluff that gets in the way. So that's how it's changed. I don't think that they had the stresses, the stressors that we have right now, you know, with the high stakes testing and things like that.
Yes. And it's the testing, the rubrics, all of the things in place. But I also think, and you can let me know, there's so many other societal ills that has changed, that has impacted education. We have children that are experiencing more trauma at a higher level.
And they're becoming desensitized to it, right? So it becomes difficult for us to even penalize them in any way, because you go, do you know what you just did? Do you know what you, and they get it, but they're so desensitized to it. Like, it's not funny, but there was a joke when I first started teaching many moons ago. And my very best friend in the world, well, one of them, Dr. Maxine Kelly Jackson, and I started teaching. We had this one kid, and every year, from the time he was in kindergarten to when he graduated 8th grade, every year, at least once or twice a year, he had a new Rest in Peace t-shirt on. Every year. And this is how we knew, because he wore it as his gym shirt. Every year. And it began to almost be a joke, but it wasn't funny. This kid had a Rest in Peace t-shirt on. He wore it to gym. It changed throughout the year. Like, he ain't wearing this for somebody else that died. And that's how it was. That's how you know who died. Because this kid had a shirt.
It became a pattern. It became a pattern. It's becoming a norm. Trauma is becoming a norm.
And so, and until we deal with the social ills that do plague our society, they're going to always creep up into our schools. So no matter what it is that you do, you can put the best paint on the walls, get the best 3 years of teaching. By the way, you do know, and I'm on to something else. But
welcome to retirement.
Yes, ma'am. They were labor intensive. Thank you. They were labor intensive those last 3 years. I remember, anybody who knows me knows that I live for this. I was born doing this, right? It got to the point to where I hated to do my lesson plans. That was the best part of my Sunday, was doing lesson plans. But it got to be such a chore. And then it got to be so calculated and so too methodical. You know, you have the Common Core state standards, and you got to line them up. And you may be doing reading informational this day and reading little. It just overwhelming to me. And that's how I knew that it was time for me to, the joy, that when that joy factor is eliminated and you cannot do your job with fidelity. And I I pray that I didn't do a lot of damage these last 3 years because I was not my best teaching self.
Right. Right.
And I didn't give them the best of who Katina Tolbert Cavity is as a teacher, you know.
But
So,
right, and when I think about education, I think about a time when teachers were able to make teaching and learning an experience for kids. And I know for me, I no longer teach in education, but I teach another way. I do it from a cultural and experience point, and I love that because I like to give an experience, right? So, but when I think about teachers and giving that experience, there was a time when it was a joy to go set up your classroom and really make an experience for the kids, make their stations good, make reading fun, become
and
creative.
you did it. Yeah. And it was a labor of love. And you use your own money. They don't give us the
Yeah,
money for this. It's a few dollars at the end of the year, or you turn in your receipts, and they make it so hard for you sometimes to even get the money. You like, did I ask you for the secret Krabby Patty formula? Like, why are you making this hard for me? You know,
right, right.
it should
And
be that you get my money.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's definitely been impacted. It's definitely been changed. Now we've had COVID. Now teachers have been faced with a pandemic. It's not the first time because I know I've met a teacher who was going through some things when it was the Great Depression, right?
Mm.
So where do you think the state of education is headed? And when I mean headed, when I think about education, I think about graduation rates. I think about people pressuring kids to go to college. Yes, I said pressure. Every kid is not a college kid. Quit trying to make your baby go to college when your
Absolutely.
baby may be better at being a plumber, a carpenter, or electrician.
How
And
many girls
FYI,
out here doing hair,
sometimes
honey,
the
hair,
trades make more money too
Yeah.
than a college degree.
Mhm. Come on now.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, where do you think the state of education is headed? I know right now, currently, a lot of states teachers are fighting to not go back to school, the remote learning. How is this impacting our babies not being in school? They're learning, the diverse learning, all of that. Give us a little something, something.
So today, right, they show the school, and I'm thinking, just throw the whole year away. Like, you literally have to do that. Can't fail nobody, right? Everybody pass. Everybody. That's a mandate coming out. You can't. And the little work that we are asking them to do, they're not doing. And they don't have to. So with that having been said, I'm thinking in my head, I think about the dollars and about the money and how much these textbook companies are going to make. And you mark my words, there will be a shift in curriculum because they're going to have to go back and get these 2 years. They're going to have to go back and make up for it. So now what was deemed as on grade level is not anymore. So you're going to have a lot of reaching back. And we were told, we asked this question. What do you do? We're getting grade level material and they missed half of the previous school year and we're coming off the summer. The term that they used was to a productive struggle. So if they struggle through the work and they get some of it done, it was a productive struggle. BS. I call BS.
Oh man.
I call it bull crap. Because you have to remediate at some point. Now, my teaching, my reading degree, it's basically tells you when remediation cannot happen after 3rd grade. You pretty much it's hit or miss, and that's when you start that whole them getting staffed. But but to answer your question, unless they look at what's deemed on grade level is going to be worse because I don't know 8th grade math when I didn't even go to 7th grade, but you
Right.
expect to learn it. How? So these textbook companies, you give the kids when they graduate from high school, that sometimes they take that exploration year to
Right.
figure it out. That's what they're going to have to do here. There's going to have to be, y'all have to just give somebody a year. College, by the time you're a senior, junior high school, you pretty much got it. I'm talking about these babies. You're asking me to add, subtract, divide, multiply in 3rd grade. When the last time I sat in front of a teacher, I was in 1st grade.
Oh man. And you expect me to get it. You expect me
And you
to
want
know
me
it.
to get it. Like
Right.
when I left out of school, we were doing final and initial consonant sounds. But I'm in 3rd grade, we blended. What's STR? Struck? And I can't even say
Right.
that. I say scruh. The TV screen.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot. You can't remediate. You're going to have to give that gap year. And these textbook
Right.
companies and these curriculum writers are going to have to do that. I call BS. I don't believe in a productive struggle. I don't believe in making a kid struggle just to get something out of them and you call it productive. BS.
Wow.
BS.
So right now, what are some things that educators can do to stay encouraged right now? It's a lot, right? I would love
I'm going
to
to tell
know
you
what
what.
you would say.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. I'm only 2 weeks out of this. So whoever your good Judy is, we keep that phone. And while we're teaching, we got to text strand
Okay.
going. And we just talking, making each other laugh, talking about kids, talking about parents, talking about the principal stuff that teachers talk about and their personal stuff. But this is what you do to help with some type of comic relief. Because if you don't laugh, you don't cry. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Right.
And to uplift each other, stuff like that. Text each other throughout the day. We used to plan each other. We used Google Meets to say hi to each other. We missed each other. Also, we met on Fridays. Like some parts of the world is still open. We still met. Went out for drinks. Like you have to do that self-care, but to uplift each other. It's just, to me, it's that phone, it's that daily interaction. Hey ladies, let's do it. Let's get this. My middle school team, we were team unstoppable. Hey team unstoppable, let's do this. Y'all got this. Have a great day.
Right.
And two, I wasn't in a great headspace. They kept me on my toes. Well, this is due. Just be there for each other and talk
Right.
about your personal life. Talk about your
So
personal
having
what's going
right. Right. That's good. That's good. So for encouragement, it would be really good to have a support system,
on. A great support system.
great support system.
Because
Some
nobody else knows what you're going through except for those people. So I would
right.
say latch on to them, even if they don't work in your school. Okay, even if they don't work in your school, they could just be your good Judy. Just having those conversations throughout the day. It's almost like nurturing a relationship, a marriage. There needs to be some type of stroking going on and some type of validating. It's the same way with teachers. We need that validation from each other because we're not going to always get it from the principal. And if you do get it, it's you don't know, you're not sure what place it's coming from. Be there for each other because we're the only people who know what it is that we're going through. That support system. And I really don't even have anything else. Just to be there, be present with each other. And sometimes you don't even have to say nothing, but just being there.
Right.
Like Job's friends did when they came. For a few days, they ain't even say nothing to him.
Right. So a support system would be really good. Some self-care would be really good. A
Self-care,
good
I don't
massage
know
would
what
be
the
really
whole big
good.
thing. Yeah, I don't know what the whole big thing is. Everybody loves these candles from Bath and Body Works. my thing. But if that's your thing, go buy you a candle. Go get your
Right.
lashes done.
And
Get your
do I
hair.
would say I would say if if I had to encourage a teacher, make time to have clarity, get a support system, speak affirmations over your life, make time for
Yep.
you, whatever that is for you, a massage, a ride, a
Yep.
walk, mall therapy,
Anything.
because
Yeah, go outside,
yes,
go to the rooms are opening back up, but some people may not like that. But whatever it is that it is for you to self-care, because you have to show up for those kids every day because it is your job.
that's it.
At the end of the day.
Right,
At the end of the day, that's your job. That's your job. And you gotta show up and you gotta be present, but you can't be you always have to be on. It's like
right,
like a live show every day. So you got to
right,
fix you. The kids will know it too. What's wrong with you,
right.
Miss Dr. Yeah, that's sensitive.
And it's funny you mentioned parents because parents are having some difficulties. Not just now, parents in general are having issues. How can parents, especially with education, some are remote, well, most of them are remote learning, and now some places talking about hybrid. Some people are doing homeschool. What are some things, some productive things that parents can engage their children in to keep them current with the times of education?
Well, having them log on every day is one thing, right? Actually going to class and actually participating because teachers are still providing the great instruction that they can under the conditions. You're still getting that planning. You're still getting that great teaching and learning, but it's in another method, in another mode of delivery. So that's kind of hard.
Well, she says kind of hard. So look, when
The
I
main
think
thing is
of
just
it,
making sure that they're logging on every day. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
and
make
I
sure
would,
they're logging on every day.
yeah, and I would add, that's good. I would add for parents to look for alternative programs to keep your child engaged, right? So if you have a child that
Yeah, I
is
was gonna add that
smart
too. I was
in
gonna add that
science
too.
and math, find them a good STEM program to teach them coding because
A
right
good
now
STEM program,
you're
absolutely.
irritated. Yeah,
There, it's free.
yeah. And
A
and then
lot of that
here's
is
the
free.
thing.
They're irritated.
And the kids they're playing video games, right? Why not teach them how to make their
Oh
own,
yeah, on the yeah,
right? So those are programs to
yeah,
invest. There are
absolutely.
programs out
But I
there.
don't always have. There are a lot of programs, Dr. Lolita, a lot. But it's all about in finding what it is that you are willing to commit to, not the kid. Because
That's true.
I'm guilty of that. I've put my children in activities, and I'm like, you gotta go practice again. So and if they didn't want to, if they didn't push it, then no more taekwondo. Good. But I mean, you have to make sure that you're vested in whatever activity that it is that they're into.
That's
So
true.
do that, again, making sure that, there are a lot of programs that are out here, but then you have a lot of parents who don't want to go out the house or don't want their children to go out of the house. So I have taught Carson how to play Uno, and we have a ball. I cheat, but he doesn't know that. He got to learn somewhere, So let's get back family game night. Buy Monopoly. Go buy some Uno cards. Go buy Jenga. All of that stuff that we used to do anyway. We did it
Right.
anyway. We used to do
Right.
that.
And that's
So people
things.
really look at COVID as a way. To me, I think that it was God's way of sitting everybody down and giving everybody that chance. So you say you want to lose weight, I don't got the time. I want to go back to school. So yeah, it's hard for everybody, but just making sure that they are vested in whatever activity that they do put their kid
Right.
in.
And I think too, to find them engaged too, is learning your child How do your child think? What do your child enjoy? The remote things right now during pandemic, yes, it's family game night. I agree. But I also believe that you need to know your kid. So your oldest kid might be exceptionally smart. Your youngest kid may not learn at that level. So you may have to get creative in some things for that child. Find
That's me.
out those
You
games.
are all in my house. You are all in my house. So I have to do that. Like my oldest, he gets straight A's. He's very self-motivated. I don't have to, he sees you when you come in your room, you're invading his space. Like that, he's a very introverted kid. And as a side note to that, I would be very, very, I'm going to be interested to know, because I did start to see that my students who were introverts, they're kicking this COVID thing, baby, they hitting it out the park. They're doing extremely well in school. Even my students who struggle, but it's because they don't have to interact as much. These introverted children, they are excelling. They are doing it really well, by the way.
Right.
So I do have to find different ways to engage them both, because I am the mother of a special needs child. Carson is special needs. So I have to with him because he may not get it the same way or at the same time or as quick as his brother did. So I have to make sure that I keep in my mind, not even different activities, Dr. Lolita, but just knowing, like you said, knowing your kid.
Knowing your kid.
They're two different children. Like you said, knowing your kid. All right. I'm gonna give this analogy really, really quickly. My mother has 5 girls, and I watched her relationship with each one of us. And her relationship with my little sister, who's probably watching, was a little bit closer than the rest of us. And I'm going, what is it about that baby girl that got a hold on our mama like that? But I learned that she parented us according to what we needed at the time. So my 5th of the mama, like my sister's 5th of the mama. My 5th doesn't look like Danielle's 5th. My 5th doesn't look like Tawana's 5th. My 5th doesn't look like LaShawn's 5th. My 5th doesn't look like LaTanya's. It's just mine. So knowing your children. So Carson's half of me doesn't look like Kyle's half of me.
Bottom line. Dr. Katina, it has really been a joy to have you on the show. I mean, you have given us nuggets. You have kept it very real, which was why I wanted you to definitely come on. We don't want to sugarcoat anything for the people. As we begin to wrap up,
well, I wanted to come back.
You have a point.
But I heard you was booked and busy all the way up on this little show, honey, all the way through July. So I guess look, when I come back, my hair be back short again.
The key is as long as you back, right? A little birdie told me prior to the show that you had a poem. Do you have a poem? A little poem, a little poetry, a little something?
I do.
You do. Okay.
It's from
guys, get ready.
I speak spoken word. I'm a woman of many talents. I have a poem.
Yes. So we want you to definitely close us out with the poem. Listen, you guys, keep up with us. Join us on social media. Keep up. Look for Dr. Katina's name because it definitely will be into the lights this year. Join us on Instagram. Join Lolita's Corner every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am going to let you close us out with the lovely poem. Join us next week. We are jumping February off. And we are hot next week. Listen to me. We coming talking about money, honey.
Okay.
So yes, let's hear your poem. I'm ready and excited.
All right, here we go. So I talked about, we were talking about teachers having and showing empathy, right? Not all the time when students mute or close their screen. A lot of times they are on some foolishness, but not all the time are they. There are reasons, right? And all the teachers are talking about there's a ceiling. They can see the ceiling. Well, the ceiling is the great. You're not going to know that, but you can see my ceiling. So you don't know all the hell I got going on. So my ceiling look like everybody else's. So that's why I say that. So it's called When I Close My Screen. You think I'm being disrespectful because I closed my screen. You're going to give my mama an earful because I closed my screen. I missed your entire whole lesson when I muted my screen. You think I'm involved in a lot of mess on my closed screen? Oh, you're going to start reporting me to the principal because I closed my screen. Even you say the school year is dismal, but I still can't close my screen. Every background is nice and clean. So I close my screen. My mom is stressed and can be mean. So I close my screen. I had to help my brother with his computer. He's only 6. So I closed my screen. You see my uncle walking back and forth behind me? He need a fix. So I closed my screen. I don't know nothing on this test. So I closed my screen. I'm 12 and my hair is a mess. So I closed my screen. So you tell me, talk about my feelings, let it out, journal on Calm Classroom, SEL, Nearpod, Jamboard, Google Slides, count to 10, tell a friend. That's what you say. But I say, how can I? How can I when I got to watch my little brother? Fix us lunch. All right? What's going on? His computer won't work. His mouse won't work. Our Wi-Fi is slow. This laptop is not compatible. My uncle has the music loud. I got to do something for my mama. What can you do to help? All of this remains to be seen. But until you figure this out, I'm going to continue to close my screen. Thank you, Dr. Lolita.
It's been a pleasure. Let me tell you, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Figure it out.
Yes, that's powerful.
Thank you.
Wow. We thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Back, what, in August?
Let's have lunch and talk about it.
Let's do lunch, dear. Well, you know, I'm free these days.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're so glad you came on with Dr. Katina and I on tonight for Lolita's Corner. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you next week. And remember to keep education lifted up in your thoughts and in your prayers. Remember what teachers may go through and what kids may go through, and be the light that shines in their life. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.